Good morning, and welcome back to the 2025 iRacing Daytona 24 at Daytona International Speedway. My name is Takato Timmerman, and I am back for part 3 and our final coverage of the 24-hour broadcast. Thank you very much for joining me early this morning as we covered about the last hour of the race. We're looking to have the remaining 57 minutes left, and we will be broadcasting it. At least my timer says 57 minutes. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case, but it does look like that is the unofficial timer. Let's take a look at the track information real quickly to get started on this broadcast. So Daytona International Speedway, it's located in Daytona Beach, Florida, opened in 1957, 3.56 miles with 13 turns, horseshoe turn there's a horseshoe at turn 3, and a bus stop at turn 10. Let's take a look at our drivers for this event. We have Eric Richardson, Hunter Hughes, Ian Miller, and Tyler Vickery. We are currently in the pits. We are sitting in 9th place for the class, but 33rd place overall. It did rain mostly through the night. You can see some of that rain, some of the water remaining on the track, but the track is mostly dry. There's been a couple issues with some of the other drivers kind of running into us throughout the race. We just had a couple nice clean endurance races in the past, and it kind of caught up to us. So we are currently in the pits. Hopefully we'll be back out soon and be driving. We did get the meatball flag, so we were ordered into the pits for some repairs. But overall, I feel like we've done pretty well. We're still out there racing. Oh, there we go. Out of the pits and back onto the track. There's the number 18 car of FR Racing. So we'll move it back over to TV2. So to give you a quick rundown of the driver's schedule that we had, Ian Miller started us off from 7:30 a.m. yesterday to 10:30 a.m. Then Tyler from 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Eric Richardson from around 1:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Hunter Hughes from 4:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Ian Miller again from 7:30 to 10:30 p.m. Hunter from 10:30 to 1:30, Eric from 1:30 a.m. to 4:30 a.m., and Tyler, who will finish off this race for us, from 4:30 to 7:30. And it looks like, look at all that debris on the field right there. I know we were talking about this earlier in part 2 and part 1 of the broadcast, but that's a lot of marbling, and be interesting to hear if that caused any issues throughout the race. I know there's some comments that about from the drivers that having all this new experimental stuff in a 24-hour race is an interesting choice by iRacing officials. Which makes sense, trying something new during such a big event is an interesting choice. But hey, go big or go home, I guess. But I'd like to thank everyone for joining me here this morning. For those of you watching, we'll after he does his lap here, we'll go ahead, hop on board, and watch from inside from the driver's view to see how the debris field kind of looks like from the driver's perspective. Because from this view, it looks like it's pretty big. Gonna go through the commentators. We have DJ Fluck, myself, and Ryan Johnston. We'll see if DJ's internet's back up and running, and will be able to join us for the finishing touches for this race. It looks like we got about 80 more laps of racing left. And we're currently sitting in 9th place overall, or not 9th place overall, 9th place for our class, but 33rd place overall. So currently, there's a whole bunch of GTP cars and LMP2 cars in front, with some GT3 cars as well. And I believe there aren't too many cars up and running still. Let me see if I can potentially calculate that. I feel like some of the biggest battles, at least in endurance racing, is just having the drivers to be able to participate in such a big event. Because after a certain point, that's at least 12 hours in, it just gets hard to try to maintain the drivers early in the morning. Just trying to keep the car running itself is a whole nother battle. So as we're on board from the driver's perspective, so we get to see a little bit of lap traffic here. Oh yeah, you can definitely hear the all the gunk on the track. You can see some of the remaining water on the track. Most of it did come off the track. Looks like we're going to finish under partly cloudy skies for this race. We did have a lot of rain, a decent amount of rain. I don't know how much it affected the track with over like 60 cars driving. I'm sure the track dried pretty quick with that. Currently for the weather, we're looking at 68 degrees with a track temp of 78 with the sunshine, with 70% humidity, and the track is currently dry. There are definitely some patches of water, but that is to be expected since that is outside of the driving line. Ooh, a little too hot into the corner, it looks like. Yeah, it's interesting to look at all that junk on the side of the track there, especially going into this corner. For those of you wondering what car we're racing here this morning, we are in the Ferrari 499P car. That is the GTP high performance car. And it's a nice little car, you know. It's one of the, since as it is one of the GTP class cars, it does run quick. Looking at around 138, 139 per lap. Sometime with like in ideal track conditions, looking at 129s, 130s, 131s. And just to give you a comparison, the GT3 car that's in front, they are running around 144, 145, and those are like your Porsche 911s, Lamborghini. I don't see any Lamborghinis here. The Ford Mustang GT3, the McLaren 720S, the Acura NSX, and the Ferrari 296. And they're running around 145s in the ideal lap conditions. And in race, they're running around 154s, 153s. And then you have your LMP2 classes that are running around 138s, 137s. While in the race, they're running anywhere between 140 and 155. So it shows you a pretty big time gap between the two different cars. Or three different classes of cars. Yeah, and if you're joining us this early in the morning, we appreciate you joining us here at Stadium Scene TV. Thank you for joining us for the Daytona 24 on Stadium Scene TV. Got a remaining 45 minutes to go, it looks like. Have to check the telemetry app or website that I have here. Make sure that I'm seeing the right one. Yes, including this one. Also says 44 minutes. So we're going to go with that as our unofficial timer. So we're looking at around, I think it was 28, 27 laps per stint for this car here for this race. And we are currently on lap 8 of our stint. It's between 20, 27. Wow, I gotta pull this up again. Pull up the stint map. We're looking at between 28 laps and 44 minutes. If we really push it long, we're looking at 29, 30 laps and 46 minutes with fuel and tires. Doesn't look to be like there is another GTP class running behind us. And there is one ahead of us. We're looking at about 5 laps down from them. So we're in a interesting spot here, where yes, we'll keep running to finish the race to see the checkered flag. But we'll see what Tyler does for his pit stop to get some fresh tires and a full tank of fuel. So you see an LMP2 class there, coming right out of the pits. Looks like throughout the night, the first place car overall is Orange Speed SRT Blue. And they were able to create a pretty big gap from second and third place. There's a 13 lap gap between those two drivers of Team 1. It was Orange Speed SRT Blue and Team 54 in second place. And then 17 laps from third place to first place, with High Spirits Racing sitting in third. The Diablo team is sitting in fourth, and Humbug Racing in fifth. Beginner's Luck in sixth. The Scars team in seventh. Shift Faced Motorsports in 8th, and FR Racing in 9th currently. That is the current GTP class rankings. And then we'll go ahead and take a look at the LMP2 class here. We have the Mac Tools car in first, sitting about 6 laps ahead of second place for the class. The ADRAE Red team. And in third place, we have HTH Slipstream for the LMP2 class. For the GT3 class, you have Garage Thoughts Motorsports leading, ahead by only 1 lap from Ghost Racing, second place. And in third place, the Muradness M Squad Oceana Coffee team. And that was all for your GT3 class. Can really see that track debris on the side there on both sides of the track, so it looks like. I definitely don't want to get caught in that. This looks to be pretty slippery. And of course, as I say that, Ian gets caught up in a little bit of the track debris and loses some traction. It was something that was brought up a couple times in the driver's chat for this race about the marbling and how it has caused a lot of spinouts during our just watching some of the races throughout these 24 hours, or the last 23 hours, I guess is a better way to put it. A lot of these incidents have happened with all the track debris. Luckily, it does get cleared out pretty quickly. A perk of having 50-60 cars on the road. And that does also help with drying out the track when it rains. But once you leave that driving line, you can kind of see it narrows down in some of these corners here. And if you had to overtake someone during one of those corners where all the gunk is all along the course, you know, it leads to a tough overtake, or just trying to get around another car, and that just becomes a handful. And you can see even in the bus stop, it's everywhere. You know, you try to take the outside line or the far inside line of the bus stop and you'll be fine, but take the outside, you're going to be slipping and sliding on all those marbles, I think is what they're calling it. That's something that you don't really want to deal with too much, especially as a driver. Just not fun. You just don't want to take those unnecessary risks going through it, but sometimes you do not have a choice. So, especially with traffic in the way, with the LMP2 class or the GT3 class, and you just want to get around them. You sometimes, unfortunately, do not have a choice just because of how different the cars are and the speed differences between the three classes. When you kind of run into traffic, you have to slow down and impact your, how quickly you get around the track, or you just take your chances and drive carefully through the debris field. While we're online, I would like to throw a quick little promo out there, or not a promo, but a shout out to the Daily Dribble. This is a podcast that does air right here on Stadium Scene TV, with the next one airing on Monday, January 20th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Nick Zammit hosts a show that features the NBA from the perspective of an Australian. In this week's episode, Nick looks back at his NBA Western Conference preseason predictions to see where he went right and where he went wrong. Strong performances from Houston and OKC and struggles from New Orleans are the key takeaways from the episode. Please tune in right here at Stadium Scene TV, Monday, January 20th from 5 p.m. Eastern Time to watch it live. Or to hear it first. And if you're ever interested in potentially running one of these GT sessions, but would like to practice before one, we do host free sprint series races, or sprint style races. We did hold one last week. On Friday nights is when we race. We do have open qualification, and then we go into a short sprint race, and they are held on, I believe they're Friday nights from 11 p.m. Eastern Time. And we will broadcast all these sprint races. We did broadcast the last one right here at Stadium Scene TV. That was a fun little one. We had a lot of rain, so we got to see what this track looked like when it was fully saturated with water. The next one will be February 7th at Bathurst, and then March 7th at at Serving, I believe. If you're interested, we do have a link in the description. It is the first one. Feel free to, if the link isn't working, please go to FR Racing Online and go ahead, select the races and hit the GT Sprint League or the GT League and join us on Discord there, and we'd be happy to have you. It is a free event. It is broadcasted, so if you are able to make it, that'd be awesome. If you're looking to join us in any of our other leagues, there's also the Indy Racing World Series, which starts up on February 4th. If you're interested, also go to our website, FR Racing Online, And look for the... Ooh, as we have a small spin out there. And right back onto the track we go. And you can see some of the water there. A little bit of the puddling. But yes, we do have our Indy Racing League. We are looking at Season 5 this year. And there's our schedule. And another racing league is our Wednesday Night Dash, which we are 2 races in so far. Looking at our 3rd race this week at Kansas Speedway. If you're interested in joining, go ahead, take a look at the link down below on frracingonline.com. Or if you're interested in watching, we do broadcast the Wednesday Night Dash series on Wednesday, green flag at 10:17 p.m. Eastern Time on Stadium Scene TV. It is live and broadcasted, so tune in if you're interested. It is a very fun race to watch. Oh no! It looks like we had a small bump there. Lost the front end. I'll do a quick replay and see if you can see what happened. I think there's a little bit of lap traffic there. So we have a GT3 car. Oh, the GT3 car went wide, tapped us. It's a bummer. I'll go back to live. See, yeah, it looks like Tyler will be limping it back into the pits here. There's a bummer. Oh, yeah, the suspension's a little jacked up. So he's just trying to limp it back into the pits here to get a little bit of a repair in. He'll be staying down on the inside of the yellow line there. Oh yeah, you can see the tire right there. It's not looking too good. At least we won't have to take a tow, which would have added time to getting into the pits and extending our pit stop. There he goes into the pits. Oh, and overshot it a little bit, but he doesn't have much control there. Anyways, we'll go ahead, hop on board, and watch some close races between drivers here, if there is one I could find. I can't, so we're gonna go watch the lead driver of the GTP class. The Orange Speed SRT Blue, which is right there. They are driving in a Cadillac GTP car. It is the Cadillac V Series R. Good morning, Tyler. Welcome to the broadcast booth.
Yep. Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, it looked like the GT3 car tapped you in the rear quarter panel and just spun you out.
Yeah, I'm assuming that they just locked it up, and I was already stuck in the marbles trying to avoid them, and they still tagged me in just the right spot that unsettled the car, and away into the grass I went, and no control and trying to stop it from hitting the wall. So yeah, I was not thrilled with that.
No, I'm sure. That's yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a had a rough one 2 hours ago where had a huge wreck. Um, Shockingly enough, the team that's in sixth overall, the 924, uh, they were they were worried and felt bad for us just because going into the bus stop and just trying to run it normally, and then all of a sudden, I guess the marbles or something, because I was up close nearby the wall, just normal. Get on the brakes, start to go into the corner, and then as soon as I touch the rumble strip, snaps on me, and I go
Oh,
snap understeer, just careening at over 130, 140 miles, and just annihilated the Le Mans chicane tire bundle on the left hand side, and it ended up destroying the motor. It I destroyed all four sides of the car. I ended up having a 52-minute required repair.
holy smokes! Hey,
Yeah.
that is a bummer.
Yeah, I'm going to be definitely saving that replay because that's definitely going to be going on Crash of the Week, because that was yeah, especially when I scared probably a few other teams because of how hard I hit the barrier. Yeah, it was one of those things that it was just running a normal line, and then all of a sudden it snaps, see a hello turn hello wall. And yeah, if that happened real life, that would have been pretty much a game ender right then and there, and probably that driver for sure going to Halifax for evaluation.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm glad we're in the sim world because wouldn't want you going to the hospital today.
Yeah, nah, especially after all the chaos that happened while everyone else was running. I was over at New Smyrna Speedway because they had their family fun night, which was it's kind of like a little warm up leading up to World Series coming up for Speed Weeks, and I thankfully I didn't decided not to run the car just because I wanted to keep it fresh for World Series of Asphalt, which is the 9 straight nights of racing at New Smyrna. It'll be broadcasted on Flow Racing and everything. Um, yeah, it's like I wanted to keep the car clean for that, because it's like if I looked at it this way, if I got caught up in any kind of wreck, I would only have like a month to get the car fully put back together, and I'd rather not try to spend an entire month trying to get everything put back together instead of just taking my time and just letting it get ready for the bigger event of the year for Speed Weeks. I'd rather wait until that and then be able to race instead of trying to race and then possibly have something go wrong, and I really don't want that to happen.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'd want to probably save up too, especially a month to try to rebuild. That's a pretty tight timeline right there.
Yeah, especially depending on who knows what could happen. Like if I broke a tie rod and stuff, I mean, those are simple, but if something else really bad happened, like if I pancaked the wall or something, and I needed to bend the frame back to its original spot, that would be very, very time consuming.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Um, just curious, how long's the repair
Got
time looking?
another got another minute required, and then 36 optional. Yeah, it was like the initial impact and everything, driving it all the way back. It was a total of 6.5 minutes.
Okay, that's not too bad. Oh,
No, it's way better than some of my other wrecks. Like everyone else, when Hunter, like when I came back on, Hunter got caught up in a GT3's incident. Like all of us have had some kind of difficulty. I know, like I remember hearing you in the broadcast at one point. There's been a lot of people from different splits as well that a lot of people have been struggling with the marbles and stuff, the debris. I have a feeling iRacing's probably gonna do some kind of adjustment in the coding and stuff. Just because I mean it's just seems like it's a little aggressive when it comes to having something as drastic as what's been happening to a lot of people.
Is it like, I guess, is it kind of like driving on ice?
Yeah, it does. It does feel like you're driving on ice. Like
Ooh.
it's just it's weird. Like you can't like certain break points if you have to make a braking adjustment for like a slower car, like if you have to get on the brakes a lot harder, sometimes it will like instant lock and that could be disastrous too. So it's one of those interesting scenarios.
Oh yeah, it sounds like it. Hopefully, iRacing will fix that, and you combine that with rain and 3 classes total, and it just sounds like a ticking time bomb.
Yeah. So that's the only unfortunate part about it. But I mean, it's I looked at it this way after finding out that everyone else was kind of having the same struggles, and this I'll definitely admit, out of all of the 7 years that I've done the 24 hour, like when I first joined in 2016, I missed out on that one. But out of all the 24 hours I've done, this has really been one of the more rougher ones for me regarding like finishing positions because I have not had like this multiple crashes before. I've used to be whoa hello look out
Ooh.
like that's what I mean. Like a lot of I'm not used to a lot of these changes, and it's been very interesting to say the least. And I actually have a drive-through penalty. Oh boy.
Oh man. Oh, we'll let
Yeah.
you get back to the road and focus on it. So good
Yeah.
luck. Last 20, 15 minutes, it looks like. So,
Yeah. It'll be fun.
oh yeah.
see if I can try to see if I can try to get at least something decent here with probably get some decent laps if I can, but we'll see. Got a fun little drive-through penalty I got to do now because of the incident points.
Oh man, that's a
Yeah.
bummer. But good
Oh
luck,
yeah.
and we'll see you in about 15, 20 minutes.
Yep. Definitely.
And that was Tyler Lugo Vickery, who's currently our driver, driving in the number 18 car for the FR Racing team. Currently serving a drive-through penalty with all the incident points. But he'll just do a quick drive-through through the pits and then be right back out onto the track. And we'll actually join him on board. And you can kind of hear the marbling. But as he said, it's just been, from what it sounds like, it's been a struggle for a lot of drivers. Not just our own, but for a lot of other drivers um, outside of this racing stint in itself. There are a whole bunch of other Daytona 24s going on at the same time. And I think if all the drivers are saying it's been pretty bad, iRacing will do something about it. But considering this is all code, I feel like it's pretty amazing that they're able to program something like this and marbling, and it's all about trial and error. But I don't know how I feel about trial for a big event like this 24-hour event and using this uh, race as a trial and error race. But hey, sometimes it works out really well and sometimes it doesn't. It would be kind of similar to when iRacing first introduced rain and then held a very big endurance race. I don't remember which one it was, but we did host a GT style event when rain was first announced, and it was just for fun, just to see what it's all about. Had it pouring for the whole race and just nonstop rain. Track was, I don't know if you could really call it a track. It looked kind of like a pool, with all the puddles. I got to mess around with that, and drivers looked like they had a lot of fun with that. Still talk about it, and probably still will for a while. One of the funny events that we host. Something that you can know about if you join our Discord. We'll go into a far chase here, and maybe we can see a little bit more of the marbling on the track. See the number 21 car right behind us. They are in third place. It's High Spirits Racing. We'll do a closer chase view. We'll definitely be able to see some puddles and marbling here on the outside of the track. So you see a GT3 car in front. Looks like Tyler will take the inside line here. You can see all that gunk on the outside line. So Tyler will navigate through this GT3 traffic, and the LMP2 is right in front. I can't imagine the combination of all that marbling and the rain, and then on top of that, all the different classes of drivers or of cars. That makes for a very, very interesting race. Even with all those issues and hazards to navigate through, it looks like we were able to keep on running, which a little bit of marbling there. Potentially some announcers jinx too. Yeah, you can see all that tire rubber. Even with all that, we were able to run 23 hours and 50 minutes, as we got 9 minutes and 30 seconds remaining unofficially. But even with that, we were able to learn a little bit more each time we do an endurance race. Take some points that we did well at, some points that we could improve upon, and kind of go from there. Also got to learn how this new track marbling system works out. And hopefully iRacing can make some tweaks and some bug fixes. But that'll be to be determined. Might be in the next big update that they do once a quarter. I'm sure they'll probably do a patch fix real quickly if the general consensus amongst all the drivers is that it's pretty bad and that they need to fix it. I feel like iRacing is actually pretty good when it comes to, or not horrible at receiving feedback and making updates as the drivers kind of talk about it. As we go into the last 8 minutes, we'll do a quick little weather report. Today, or right as of right now, it is mostly cloudy at 69 degrees, with track temperatures dropping a little bit down to 76 degrees. Humidity of 64%, and track wetness being relatively dry. Certain parts of the track where it isn't very frequently run could be a little wet, but in most spots it is dry. Right now, the simulation world is looking at 1:56 p.m. And we're looking at our final 7 minutes of this event. I think Tyler's going to be able to finish the stint on this, or finish the race off with this stint here. Currently on lap 5 of his stint, and we're looking at about 6 minutes remaining. It's looking at about 4 or 5 more laps until I think they're going to do a white flag and a checkered flag as well for this. I'm not 100% sure. This may be one of those, oh look, we ended, here's the checkered flag kind of situations. I believe there will be a white flag and a checkered flag, but we'll find out in about 5 minutes and 30 seconds. I think last time we broadcasted an endurance race, it ended pretty abruptly. Didn't realize that the checkered flag was out. Hopefully we won't have a 23-hour and 59-minute race instead of a 24-hour race, as that has potentially happened in real life. They did nickname it the 23-hour, 59-minute race. I think it was last year. Hopefully they'll actually run the full 24 hours this year, so doesn't get that not so friendly nickname. Last 4 minutes remaining. It looks like we're just running behind the number 27 car of Shift Faced Motorsports. They are one position ahead of us, currently 8th place for them in the class, and we are currently sitting 9th place in the class. Looks like there's a lot of traffic right ahead of us. Number 44 car is a Team Diablo. So it looks like we'll be finishing with 3 GTP cars all in a row. With with a little bit of lap traffic ahead. Looks like a LMP2 classic car there has unfortunately gotten involved with a mix of these GTP cars. As Tyler takes the... Ooh, nice save there. Going through the marbling, it's almost lost it, but he was able to save it. Two minutes and 30 seconds remaining of this session and of this 24-hour race. I think we have 2 or 3 more laps remaining before the checkered flag. But as we start closing off the broadcast, we'd like to give a shout out to all the drivers again. These 4 as part of the FR Racing Endurance team: Eric Richardson, Hunter Hughes, Ian Miller, and Tyler Vickery. They did an amazing job racing, even with all the chaos and the shenanigans that they had to deal with. Able to run the full 24 hours and keep a car running throughout the night, throughout the day, from morning, from rain to sundown and sunshine, from the cold nighttime temperatures to the humid, hot temperatures during the day, navigating 3 different classes, getting tapped, dealing with the new marbling system or the track debris system. I would say they all did a really great job, and look forward to potentially running some more endurance races for the rest of the year. Definitely not the way that we wanted to end, But hey, a finish is a finish, and couldn't ask for anything better than finishing off the race, in my opinion. It was definitely a learning curve, and not something, not something fun having to deal with issues and some problems up front. And there it is, the final lap. So we'll wave, that's the white flag is being waved. And we end our 24-hour race here. As Tyler goes into the backstretch. Hopefully get some comments from him. And then we'll probably call it a day, a night, a 24-hour race, I guess. $713 laps raced. This will be 714 as we cross the start-finish line. $714 raced in 24 hours. It's a very great showing by FR Racing and their endurance team. As and as we close off the broadcast, we'll give a quick shout out to the commentators, DJ Fluck, who ran the first part, myself, and Ryan Johnston. We have our drivers, obviously, of Eric Richardson, Hunter Hughes, Ian Miller, and Tyler Vickery. And just as a recap, this was the 2025 iRacing Daytona 24. at Daytona International Speedway, located in Daytona, Florida, in the U.S. of A. Overall, FR Racing team finished ninth in the class, 33rd place overall, with 714 laps driven. And as Tyler, for the last time in this race, will go towards the pits and call it a race. Do a little bit of donuts here. Little celebration to finish off. I'd say a hard fought battle. Okay, a little bit of fog with all this with no fog in the forecast. And looks like he'll be bringing it in one final time today during this race. We'll get some small remarks and some comments from him, and then we will also shut down the broadcast. So for those of you tuning in, we appreciate you tuning in and listening to our 24-hour race broadcast. We did try something new this time around, 3 different parts. And let's see if Tyler will join us in the broadcast booth for a little bit. If not, we'll probably call it a night. Hey, Tyler.
Hey.
Congratulations on finishing the 24-hour race. I know.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was definitely some things that hopefully iRacing will fix with the debris on the track and all that. But other than that, how did the race feel? You had some fun. Got to race another 24-hour event.
Yeah. Yeah. It was fun. I'm glad I got to join you guys. I know I know it was rough, especially how we were running at the start, running good, being up there in the top, even leading a lap or two at one point, just based on pit strategy and stuff before all of the calamity ensued once we started getting all of the debris and everything really starting to take effect. But it was kind of cool. I had fun with it. Definitely a big learning curve, especially since I want to do a lot of the other sim racing events like Bathurst and Road America, a few of the other big special events for like road course stuff, and especially since I'm trying to still work on everything with IndyCar, trying to get myself more prepared for that again, especially for the pro qualifying series when they do that again. Especially now that they've got a season in the books now, to instead of it being 33 spots, it's only going to be, I believe, like I think 13 spots available. So it's going to be a lot harder to try to be able to get points into that. So being able to understand some of the debris stuff, kind of, at least now, it's gives me a little bit of more insight of knowing what to expect, even like in an open wheel car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be yeah. I'm glad you were able to learn a little bit about the endurance racing and the debris stuff. I think everyone kind of learned something new from this race's debris, especially since it's a new feature. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, they added in like debris and stuff where they're from the development blog and stuff that I've read up on, it's supposedly making it where the track becomes slicker. Um I have a feeling they probably just tweaked a little too much of it, made it too much of a penalty.
Yeah, it looked like it.
Because I I even with me being when I've gone to the Rolex 24 the last few years, and I've seen cars go off track or there's spots where there's always like dirt and everything. I don't see them struggling on throttle input as much as both like myself, Hunter, Eric. I mean, even some of the other teams that we were running alongside with. I mean, I think there's definitely going to have to be a rework in it. I mean, even Max Verstappen, at one point, I was keeping an eye on the top split race for our session, and Max Verstappen had a incident where it was the marbles and stuff that caught him off guard. Granted, this was also during rain as well, but that might have ended up costing them a chance at top split win, which Redline has still yet to win a top split race, and yet I think if I recall, I haven't had a chance to look up on the top split broadcast, but it looked like actually yeah, I just checked it. Scuderia Ferrari first time showing up, first time entering the 20 Daytona 24 in the top split. They ended up winning overall. So it's
Wow.
wild yeah, it's wild with all the situations that happened, and then I think Max Verstappen's team ended up finishing third or fourth. I think they might have fallen out at podium just because of all of everything that happened. So it it was there was a lot that happened. I can definitely attest to that.
Yeah, yeah, different stuff all the way around. I feel like tried something different with the broadcasting, and then iRacing tweaking some things, and hopefully we'll get a fix soon with that. And other than that,
Yeah.
congratulations on finishing off the race. I think all the way around to all the drivers, including yourself. Doing the 24-hour race is never easy. 3 hour stints twice, um,
Nah,
and
I can
just
agree. Yeah, I can attest to that. I mean, I can tell my second ever attempt, which was back in 2019, I want to say, because I know for sure I missed it in 2016. Or no, actually 2018. 2018, I ended up getting stuck where one of our drivers was not able to make the race because his computer decided to fall apart on him, and then another driver fell asleep. I ended up having to do an 8 hour nonstop stint.
oh no.
Oh yeah, I can tell you that was yeah, that was very exhausting to say the least.
Yeah, sounds like it. I'm glad you didn't have to do that this time. And
No,
ooh,
I'm glad I was able to run with the FR Racing and Eric and all of them, which it could have been a better result, but I mean, first time for everything when it comes to just new stuff, and especially this big of a magnitude as well. I mean, from even from 2016 when I joined the service, I mean, the road racing side, I mean, all the stuff that has changed over the last now, actually, February 10th will mark 9 years that I've been on iRacing. I can attest, I mean, I'm still amazed at how much technology's changed, the graphics. It's amazing what kind of technology we got now, and how close we can try to make it and mimic it to the real life. I mean, it still amazes me, and especially being on the sim for over 9 years, it's I mean, it baffles me. I'm still shocked at all of the development they do, all of the cars that they continue bringing onto the service, especially keeping um the older versions still around where you can still mess around with them. It's still they iRacing amazes me all the time.
that's good. Yeah, it's a pretty beefy platform, and it's always kind of cool to see all the new additions that they make. But on that note, congratulations on finishing the race. Congratulations on uh, you know to you and all the drivers that raced the 24 hours to complete, finishing all the way through, and to our 4 team members to finish off the race and to have a car to run all the way through to the checkered flag, from green flag to checkered flag.
Yep, a lot
And
of fun.
and
Had a
hopefully
blast.
hopefully you can get some sleep and catch up on a little bit of rest.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be the fun part now. Is I'm gonna lay in bed, probably give myself another maybe 4 hours of sleep, and then I got some stuff I gotta get taken care of. But it'll be nice to at least lay in the bed and actually sleep for a little bit.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah, especially running around in New Smyrna Speedway doing photos for teams. Thankfully, at least from what I was thinking of what my original plan was, I'm kind of glad I didn't let that go into fruition of actually racing, because I don't know if I would have made it through the last 3 hours of the race.
Oh yeah, that'd been rough. That'd have been a lot of racing for you.
Yeah, both real life racing, running for probably about for 20 lap feature. Well, actually, no, probably almost closer to like 40 laps total with practice, heats, and then feature. Yeah, I think my adrenaline would have been very, very worn off by this point.
I think so. All right, well, go get some rest, and congratulations on finishing the race. And I'm gonna do a little bit of signing off here, and then I'll probably also go back and give myself an hour or two.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you again, Tiki. Always appreciate when you guys do the broadcast.
oh yeah, happy to help out. I'll have a good night, or well, I guess have a good morning and have a good week.
Yep, definitely, and it'll be fun being at the real life Rolex race in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for next week. So be
Oh,
fun.
oh yeah, have fun.
Yep, get to do it all over again, but instead as a fan and a photographer.
Hey, that's the best way to go.
Yep.
All right, take care.
Yep.
And that was Tyler Vickery, who finished off this Daytona 24 race for FR Racing. And on that note, I would like to sign off. Thank you very much for joining us here on Stadium Scene TV for live coverage of the 2025 iRacing Daytona 24 for Team FR Racing. My name is Takato Timmerman, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and a great week. Thank you, and take care.